This podcast is brought to you by lineupmedia.fm.
Because if you can tell me what your habits are, I can tell you what sort of a person you are. I can tell you what your future looks like.
But like I always say, life is 10% what happens to you, it's 90% what you do about it.
The people who are most effective in the workplace believe that their future is going to be bigger than their past. When people don't believe that their future is going to be bigger than their past, they begin to disengage.
You're listening to The Circuit of Success, a podcast dedicated to helping you achieve success in every facet of life. Only on the lineupmedia.fm podcast network. Now, your host, Brett Gilliland.
Welcome to the Circuit of Success. I'm your host, Brett Gilliland, and for those people that know me, they know I love Cardinal baseball, Matt, and I got Matt Adams here with me. Matt, what's going on?
Not much. Just another day in the life.
Another day in the life of a Major League Baseball player. I got my baseball sitting here. My kid said I got to get this autograph before you leave.
For sure.
We're going to knock that out, okay? I got four boys, man. They're big Cardinal fans. We've been watching some Matt Adams highlights over the last week or so. So, it's funny. I watched, this was before your time, but Game 6 in the 2011 World Series. Man, that thing never gets old as a Cardinal fan to watch that. It was incredible.
No, Freeze was kind of like the guy that took me under his wing.
Yeah.
When I got called up in 2012, the following year, and I go back and watch it.
Yeah.
Just knowing him as like my teammate, my friend, and seeing that happen, like it's awesome.
It is. It's insane. It's insane. Well, you are Pennsylvania. Growing up in Pennsylvania, you were drafted 23rd round in the 2009 Major League Baseball draft. You've been with the Cardinals, the Braves, the Nationals, the Rockies. You won a World Series with the Nationals in 2019, man. How was that?
It was awesome. Starting off the year, we were not the greatest team. I think we were the first 50-some games into the season. We were 19-32, and
wow.
Got some good key veteran pieces. We got Parra, and then Anibal Sanchez. It kind of brought the pitchers together as like a family, and those two guys in the clubhouse just kind of changed that whole dynamic. And we came together and we bonded, and we went out there from that day forward, and just we knew that we needed to take care of business, and the end result was Game 7 in Houston, and being able to celebrate with those guys on the field. It was a great feeling. And
that was pretty cool too, man. For you, you've been around successful careers, and to your point of the culture, I think whether you look at it from a baseball team or you look at it from a business setting, culture's everything, isn't it?
Absolutely. And it's like what I tell people, like when they want to talk about it, we're around our teammates and our coaches more than we're around our own families.
Yeah.
So it's like we're gone 8.5, 9 months of the year. If we get lucky enough to play postseason baseball, you got to treat it like a family dynamic in that clubhouse. And you got to, of course, not everybody's going to get along, but you all got to be on the same page fighting for that same goal, and that's to win a World Series at the end of the day. What's
that like in the clubhouse, man? Are people together a lot? Are you sitting there and you kind of got your crew just like you would at work, right? You got your lunch crew or whatever. Is that kind of how it goes down with you guys as well in the locker room?
Yeah, I would probably have to say, and I think most people would probably agree with me, the pitchers kind of stick with the pitchers, the position players kind of stick with the position players. But, we're in the downtime that we have in there, whether it's like rain delays or, we come in early, get our work in, and then we have a little bit of downtime before BP and whatnot before the game. We, we'll sit around and play some cards, just keep it loose.
Yeah.
You got to keep the clubhouse loose. Every team's got a character. So, you get that guy, whether it's putting music on, letting them dance and get the clubhouse laughing, or, it just comes down to keeping it loose and everybody just having fun to go out there when the lights come on and go to battle.
So who was that guy? Who was the guy? Who was the clown in the clown in a positive way, right? Who was that guy for the Cardinals?
For the Cardinals?
Like who kept that locker room going?
Probably have to say Yachty was a good one.
Okay.
He's super serious, and like when he's in there, he's getting his work done.
Yeah.
But when he's got a little bit of downtime, he'll go around and joke around.
Yeah.
Like him and Wayno are like two peas in a pod. They just go after each other, play pranks on each other. Another one, like my close friends in the Cardinals, it was Seth Maness was like kind of like a jokester, kind of the guy that kept it loose and whatnot. But I got to say, probably the best guy that I've ever been around was Para.
Really?
With the Nationals, yeah. He had this scooter that he would ride in on every day. Whether he went 0 for 4 the night before or 4 for 4, he was cruising in that next day on that scooter, and he had his daughter got him a little baby shark.
Nice.
Stuffed animal. He set that on the handlebars of the scooter, and he had a horn. As soon as he rode through the doors of the clubhouse, he's always beeping that horn and getting everybody fired up. And
that's awesome. You knew when he was there, huh?
Oh yeah,
yeah.
For sure.
So talk to us about that growing up as a kid, man. Obviously, you were a great baseball player in high school and all that stuff, and then went to college and then the pros and got to the highest level in baseball. But like, at what point do you think, when you look back, did you ever have that point where you knew you were different and this was going to be a pretty cool, fun ride?
Yeah, I would. I'd probably have to say once I got to college, and growing up in a small area of central Pennsylvania, I mean, where I grew up, we had like about 1,100 people, so it was very, very small. Everybody always thought I was crazy for like not wanting to go out with my friends, go on vacation. Like I was always the kid that I always wanted to go play baseball, and everybody asked me, what was your dream? And I said, I want to be a Major League Baseball player one day. And I always got laughed at.
Yeah, right,
I always
whatever.
got told, you're never going to make it from, this small area. Just, it's not feasible. And I took it, laughed it off and just kept working. And had a good high school career. Supposed to go to University of Pittsburgh. That scholarship got pulled because of grades over recruiting, whatnot. I got my grades where they wanted it to be, and they ended up pulling the scholarship and saying, "Hey, we brought somebody else in. Fill your spot. You're more than welcome to come to university and play. You can walk on, but the scholarship's not there anymore." So I was like, I don't want to go. I don't want to go somewhere and get buried to where I'm not going to be able to go out there and play. I wanted to, even as a freshman, I wanted to step foot day one on that field and play and compete. And my high school coach knew the coach at Slippery Rock, so he made a call and said, "Hey, I got a guy that you might want to take a look at." Went to Slippery Rock, and after my freshman year, I was the conference freshman of the year. I hit like over 400 as a freshman, I think it was 415 or something. Had a good break in the summer, came back for my sophomore year, had a great sophomore season, and then I went away and played in the NACBL, which up in Pittsfield, Massachusetts, and that was when I knew that I could do it, because it was like Slippery Rock's Division II. This league was all of the Division I guys that didn't get invited or just wasn't room for them in the Cape. So it was the step down from the Cape, and I ended up being the MVP of that summer league. And then I was okay, started getting some letters going into my junior year. Hey, we're going to be following you from different teams, and then ended up going to do some pre-draft showcases at came out here to Busch, did one for the Cardinals, went to Yankee Stadium, the Mets. And I would say after that sophomore year in the summer league, that was whenever I was okay, I might have a chance of doing this, and just got to buckle down and keep working.
And I got to think, man, that grind that you're on when you're in the minors. How long were you in the minors? Was 4 or 5 years? 3 years?
I was only there for 3 years.
Okay.
I was thankful.
Oh, yeah,
to
2009.
be
That's
on
right.
The fast track.
Yeah. Because that's a grind, man. They're not making a lot of money, but you got to follow this dream and this passion to go make it. So for you, what was it like during that, on days where maybe you didn't want to do it or you didn't want to go train and maybe you had a bad game? How did you get through that?
Knowing that I'm not where I wanted to be, knowing that the end goal was to reach major leagues and to be that guy, to be able to put a major league uniform on, even if it was just for one day.
Yeah,
that was my dream, and I knew that as soon as I got into pro ball, I was like, man, this is different. It's going to be, challenging at times, but I never let it get me down. I had good people around me. I always had, a close group of friends on every team that I ended up along the way with in the minor leagues. That we were always fighting for that same dream and that same goal, and that really helped a lot. We would come back to our apartments, talk about the game, talk about what it took to get to the next level. Like you mentioned, like that mindset. I surrounded myself with people that had that same mindset, that warrior mentality, that I'm not going to let anything get in my way. I'm gonna do this till I can't do it anymore. Did
you stay a student of the game, like even during that run, and then even in the your years in the Major League Baseball? Somebody told me one time it's harder to stay in the majors than it is to get to the majors. So one, would you agree with that? And then number two, how did you stay a student of the game? Yeah,
I would absolutely agree with that, because in the minor leagues there's not a lot of video. Nowadays there's more video than there was back whenever I was coming up. But you had to trust your eyes. Like whenever I was, 2009, 2010, 2011, you had to trust your eyes. You had to pay attention to how the pitcher was pitching, guys like you or guys before you. And you still do that in the big leagues, but you have a video room in up here where all these, 30 different camera angles where you can go and see what, that pitcher's got. Or even, keen in on what you're doing. If you feel off, you can do that. So I think, utilizing the technology nowadays is really helpful to, stay in a student of the game and really understanding. But it's also, as a Cardinal in spring training, they were great because they always brought the Hall of Famers back down. Like Gibby, Lou Brock, Whitey, Red. All those guys would come down to spring training, and you'd be crazy not as a young player to not get around those guys and just pick their brain. And like that, Akendo always used to tell us, go, when Ozzy's down here, go talk to him. Go pick Whitey's brain about how he would manage in this situation, or what he sees. As a hitter, I would talk to Gibby on like how he would approach trying to get me out. And like having those conversations with some
one of the best
studs, like you'd be crazy not to, utilize that time that they're down there, for 6-7 days to not learn about the game. Yeah. And it's just, taking opportunities like that and not passing them up. And
that's probably pretty unique, isn't it? I mean, what the Cardinals do, is that different than compared to the other teams? Because we always hear, best fans in baseball, right? And then now you've played for the Nationals, you played for the Rockies and the Braves, and had a lot of success there. But is it true for those Cardinal fans?
Yeah, I would say
it's different.
This is definitely baseball heaven.
Yeah.
I mean, it's crazy. And, whether it's a Friday night game against the Cubs or a Wednesday day game against, not a rival.
Right.
That stadium is packed. And every fan that is in that stadium is into every pitch. Even if a visiting player makes a great play or gets a big nod, like they're lightly clapping because they're fans of the game.
Yeah.
And it's just awesome. Like to be able to have that experience in my debut, to like come back, like I debuted in Dodger Stadium. So when I got back and was able to,
epic place to have a debut,
right? Sunday Night Baseball, it's like on ESPN. I was like,
hey, this is awesome.
This is pretty crazy. Right. Yeah. But to be able to put that home jersey on with the birds on the bat and walk out that tunnel and come on the field to a packed, 45, 50,000, fans, just a sea of red. It really is a sea of red, because you come out there and that place is packed and they're loud and they're into the game, and it's like
you can feel it, right? You can feel it vibrating, and you're in the dugout of the locker room.
Like that's what us players. That's what we live for.
Yeah,
like we live for that energy. Like we build off that energy, and I've been fortunate enough. Like the Nationals had great fans, the Braves had great fans, and probably even more now after coming off winning the World Series last year. But, nothing really beats baseball in St. Louis.
I love to hear you say that, man. So I remember I was at this game, You're going to remember this. We're down 2-0, Game 4, 2014 LDS. I can see the smile on your face. You already know where I'm going, right? Tell us. I'm going to say it, but I'll let you say who's on the mound.
Kershaw.
Clayton Kershaw is on the mound. And walk us through that at bat, man, because I will say, I mean, I moved to St. Louis in 2001, and so from 2001 and till now, even. I mean, what an epic run! But that first 10 years, 15 years that we were here in St. Louis, my wife and I, was incredible. I remember talking to my dad and my mom, and like, this may never happen again, like in our lifetime, right? And but here you are, 2014. Again, we're down 2-0. One of the best pitchers in our time, right? Clayton Kershaw is up. You come up. What happens?
I want to say it was a 1-2 count.
Sounds right. Yep.
In the bottom of the 7th, we're down 2-0, 2 runners on. I want to say it was Johnny Peralta and Holiday that were on first and second, and he threw that curveball, and I saw it pop out of his hand, and I was like, "Oh, this is going to be a good one to."
Let me stop you. So you're right here, Clayton. I guess he's lefty, so he's here, right? Clayton Kershaw. You see this thing come out of his hand, you know it's a curveball before he even releases it.
Yeah, wow. I'm a really good. I like to hit breaking balls that are strikes.
Yeah,
I think it's one of my strengths. And I saw that thing pop out of his hand, and I knew that it was going to be in the strike zone. So I just had to wait for it to get to the right spot.
You had to wait all about 1 second.
Right.
I had to wait for a second.
For me, it seemed like a lifetime. Because I was like, okay, come on. It's such a good pitch. Like, just get here. My eyes lit up, and then I swung and made contact and felt for people that have never hit a baseball, like when you hit a ball on the barrel and like you don't feel anything down into your hands, you know that you hit it good. And I finished my swing and looked up and saw that it had the height to go out, and the famous thing with me putting my arms up and
I think you did a little twirl maybe, right?
at home plate. And then once it probably got 3/4 of the way to the fence, I saw Matt Kim, he was running back hard after it, and I'm like,
oh boy,
oh shoot, I better take off because this may not get out.
This will be embarrassing.
And I started running, and then he jumped up and I saw the slow-mo replay, and it barely got over his glove, and I saw it hit the bullpen floor and bounce up, and that's whenever I did the leap up in the air and looked into the dugout and was just super excited. And I tell everybody they always ask, what was what was it like rounding the bases after you knew that it was a home run? I tell everybody, I don't remember feeling the ground running around the bases. But no, and then making that turn at third base, and seeing all the fans up on their feet going crazy, seeing my teammates at home plate that just scored, and just waiting to celebrate with everybody in the dugout, and celebrated, and then realized that, hey, we still got 2 more innings left. That we got a good team over across that field that we have to shut out for the next 2 innings and go to work. So I had to go down into the batting cages and lay down and take a couple deep breaths and kind of calm myself down to be able to go out there and finish those last 2 innings and be where I needed to be for my teammates.
Yeah, well, that's cool, man. That's the stuff, we don't know that kind of stuff, right? You go in there, and I can't imagine the heartbeat. I mean, I know what it was like as a fan in there. That place was rocking.
Oh yeah.
I mean, it was rocking.
And that's how, you said, you go back and you and your boys watch the Game 6 homer. That I go back and watch that homer. Any time during the season where I feel like I'm a little off, or feel like my confidence, if I didn't have a great game, once I get home, I'll flip that
Fired up YouTube and
pull that video up, and it puts me back in that moment. I can feel what I felt at that time. The chills, the confidence, the excitement, and then I'm able to go to bed on a good note and wake up the next day and have my mind where it needs to be to go into work and
have a little swagger.
Yeah, exactly.
So walk us through that, whether it's that at bat. I mean, you've had obviously a lot of home runs, and not just home runs, right? Singles, doubles, all the things that you've done. What's the mindset for you when you go up there, whether it's Clayton Kershaw or just some random pitcher? I mean, what's your mindset, your preparation? What do you do mentally? And again, I look at that from a lens of no different than an advisor here or an attorney or an accountant walking into that meeting with the client, right? There's a mindset you go into, right? And so talk to us about that.
So the mindset for me, facing whether it's a starting pitcher, relief pitcher, or like, the best guys in the game, the closers, it's knowing that, I can beat you. I'm going to beat you this at bat. You're not going to get me. I'm going to get you. And it starts with that kind of like confidence, swagger, knowing that, today it's my day. It's not your day, it's my day. But then taking that mindset and doing your homework beforehand, whether if I'm starting, because like where I've been mostly in my career, I've been like a backup for like a stud at first base. So if it's a day that I'm starting, that previous night, I'll watch video on the starting pitcher, knowing like what his tendencies are, if he likes his curveball in this count, or just study him a little bit, and then come into the field, see if that's the game plan that he's going to use against me that day. And then if not, you got to make an adjustment based on what he's doing. But if I'm coming off the bench, then I'm following the way the game's going and who they got up in the bullpen, who I may face.
And you thinking about that during the whole game? So let's say you may not go into the 8th inning. You're like all 7 innings before that. You're thinking, who's pitching? What are they doing? What they've been doing on 3 and 2 or whatever.
That's the way I like to be. I like to just fully. It helps me stay engaged with the game. It helps me learn, and it helps me not to get distracted. So I take that mindset, take that all the information that I gather, whether it's a starting pitcher or a relief pitcher, and then I go in and I try to execute my plan to the best that I can.
Yep.
And I think that, coupled with that mindset, that kind of helps me lock in and be confident and comfortable with that's my approach. Yep. That whenever I'm doing that and I can get my swing off and I swing at strikes, I'm in a good place.
Yeah. What was the nights where, because we all have this, right? You have a bad day at work, you have a bad day at the baseball diamond, you go 0 for 4, let's say. I'm sure that's happened, times in your career. Plenty of times in your career, right? But walk us through that. I've heard lots of people say you got to have a short-term memory, and I agree with that. Again, in business, we got to have a short-term memory. So what was it for you if you had to go home? You're getting home at 11:30 at night, and you got a day game tomorrow. What's Matt Adams doing on that night when he goes 0 for 4 to be ready for tomorrow?
I touch like I'll pull up some of my positive highlights.
Yep.
My wife now, who was my trainer that helped me lose all the weight, like kind of like mental coach. She's a good one that if she's not in town with me, I'm picking up the phone, calling her, and just kind of, she knows what to say. She lets me vent, get out what I need to get out. She hears it, and then she's able to kind of calm me down, bring me back down to reality, and give me, whether it's a 5-minute, 10-minute meditation to where it's like calming, breath work, visualization, and how I want to be that next day.
Yeah.
And like doing that, like that was a big turnaround in like my mindset, my mental approach to the game, was starting to meditate, starting to like breath work. Not only at nighttime, like I'll do it before the game, like when I'm sitting in my locker, but like when I have a bad game, that's my go-to.
Yeah. I think it's amazing, man, how many people, whether it's an Olympic athlete or a Major League Baseball player, just all these people that I get the blessing and the gift to talk to during this podcast, but how much meditation comes up. I mean, people that hear this are seeing, I meditate personally, and it's huge. I mean, it's been a game changer for me. And so walk us through that. Are you doing that through just because you've done it enough now, you just know you can kind of sit in your locker and kind of zone out and do it? Or do you listen to like Headspace or Calm or an app like that?
So before I met my wife, which I met her in 2016, she was working for the Cardinals. She came down to spring training as like a Pilates instructor. And before I had the conversation with her about the whole like mindset approach, mental stuff, if somebody would have told me to like meditate, I would have been like,
I'm going to beat you up.
You are crazy. I'm not doing that shit. But honestly, it's been like the biggest game changer, like for me personally, on and off the field.
Yeah.
Like, and it's just, I've used Headspace, I've used Calm, but my wife's also written up like scripts.
Okay.
And where it's like her voice and there's like calming music in the background. So
that's
like,
awesome.
It's like I do a lot of, I'm way better with like guided meditation.
Yeah, me too.
Like just putting my headphones in, quietness, or like.
Then I'm like over here
like
thinking about
Zen
900
music
other
and
things.
like, then like my mind goes crazy. So like I gotta have, whether it's using those apps that you touched upon, or using the guided scripts that my wife has come up with. That's what I gotta be.
Yeah, we'll have to have her on the podcast, man. She'll have to train us on meditation
for
because
sure.
It's huge. So I want to go back a little bit, back to when you were in the minor leagues. I saw something, a video maybe, or an interview you had, but when you get the call, right? I think you were playing the minors. They pulled you out of the game, if I'm not mistaken, and told you you're moving up to the big leagues, right? So what was that like, man? That feeling and that emotion of, man, here I go, and then calling mom and dad.
Yeah, so we were in Vegas. Night game, I want to say it was like the 4th inning, and I crushed it. Like I hit a ball off the wall, so I hit a double, scored a guy, and then I ended up scoring, but the guy ended up getting thrown out at second base on the throw home. The catcher threw him out, whatever. And I'm walking back to the dugout, and I get my glove, my hat to go out to warm the guys up for the bottom of the 4th. And like I get halfway, I'm like right behind the pitcher's mound, already out on the field, and my manager is screaming my name to come back. I'm like,
which is not normal to come out in the 4th inning.
I'm like, did I do something wrong? Like, did I run through a stop sign, or like did I piss somebody off? And I crossed the line, and then like that was whenever it like hit me. I was like, oh shoot, like I feel like I either got traded, I got released.
It'd be really good or really bad. Yeah.
Or I'm going up to the big club, and I get in like to the dugout and stand face to face with Pop, who's the third base coach for the Cardinals. He goes, "Hey man, you might want to go pack your bags." And I'm like, well, that same like feeling. Well, I'm either going, because I know they're in LA. I'm either going to LA with the Cardinals, or I'm going some other city with another team. He goes, "You're going to LA to, Berkman just got hurt, so you're getting called up." And I was like,
gives me chills, man.
I was speechless. Like, I gave him a hug. Like, I didn't know what to do, so I gave him a hug. I was so excited. And he's like, I was like, "Do you want me to go back out the first?" He goes, "No, you're out of the game. Go pack your bags. You're going to LA." So went in there, started packing my bags, and like I called my mom and dad, and they're like, "Is everything okay?" They said, "You came out of the game." I said, "I am out of the game, but it's all good. I'm going to LA to make my debut tomorrow." And like they like making that phone call, like, and like hearing like how proud, like, I mean, my mom and dad, like, they're emotional people. Like, they started crying.
Yeah.
And like then I start like I'm emotional too, so like I started crying, and then like it didn't really hit till like I was on a 5 a.m. flight the next morning to LA that I was like that it really sunk in. And
well, you got to think, man, all the years, right? The driving you to practice, the this, the that. I mean, for them and for you, but just the emotions have got to be unbelievable.
Oh yeah, and they like my mom's like she's very like religious person, and to this day, she still apologizes for they weren't able to make, because in being in central Pennsylvania, like on that short notice, they weren't able to make, get a flight to LA for my debut. So to this day, like she still apologizes for that, but like they were able to come, like be for like here for my home opener. So like that was awesome. But like, just like you said, like all the sacrifice, all the things that they gave up for me, to be able to do what I love to do, to even as a little kid, like whenever they probably thought it was crazy. Yeah. Hey, Matt wants to be a Major League Baseball player. Well, we're going to take him to this tournament. We're going to take him all over so he, can do it. And like, I'm just so grateful that I had the mom and dad that I had.
I think even as a parent of 4 boys, I mean, if, your kids say that, you wonder, I don't know, man. Like how they felt. Like, is this? We'll take Matt to this tournament, but you wonder, are they sitting behind closed doors and being like, man, Major League Baseball, that's a big stretch.
Right.
But yet they supported you, and I think that's what matters, right? Who you said it earlier, who we surround ourselves with matters.
Oh yeah,
right? Personally, professionally, everything. It matters, man. And that culture is so big, and I think it's your upbringing in that. But and you mentioned your mom's faith, but I know you're a man of faith as well. So what role has your faith played for you in your career and even personally?
Yeah, I think I wouldn't be here where I am today without Jesus Christ. And he blessed me with this platform and, the skill set. Obviously, I work at that skill set, but he blessed me with a talent that I was able to build upon, that if he didn't do that, I wouldn't be able to be on this platform, being a Major League Baseball player, being able to share what I've done, what I know, what I feel like would help out the public. I'm so grateful that I know him and I have a relationship with him. And there was a time in my life where, I got married probably way too young, and it only lasted 7 months. And when we got divorced, I was like down, like not in a good place. And like it was 2015. So like, I'm like Major League Baseball player. On the outside, everybody's like, oh, you're living the life. But behind closed doors, I was a wreck. I was going through this journey alone. Mom and dad so far away from me. My friend group was all back home. And I believe that God put my wife today in my path in 2016 to save. At the time, I didn't know she was going to be my wife.
Yeah.
But he put her in my life, and she completely changed my life around. And I am extremely grateful for that, because I would not be the man that I am today without the help of her. And that's God's blessing right there.
That's very powerful. Thanks for sharing that and being transparent with that stuff. And I've heard you say that in some interviews before too. And so you said earlier she showed up as the Pilates instructor at camp, and then, turns into your wife, but that doesn't just happen. But you went through a major transformation, right? And how much weight did you lose?
I lost damn near 40 pounds.
Yeah.
I think like 38 pounds it was.
Yeah.
And like, I want to say like 17 or 18% body fat. Like I was overweight. I was a big guy, and just had a lot of tweaky injuries that, like, guys that were in shape, they're not having. And, I was walking off the backfields with Greg Garcia and Colton Wong the one day, and this chick pulls up in this convertible Corvette, and I'm like, who the hell is this pulling into our parking lot? And we walk in, we change, and like Pete Prinzi, our strength coach, comes in and was like, hey, we're trying out, might bring a Pilates instructor on board. Like, would you guys be interested in going through like a trial class? And we were like, yeah. So there was like 6 or 7 of us that like did the class, and I would like, after that class, I was like, damn, I feel taller. I'm like, my body feels like free. Like my muscles weren't sore. Like after just completing like a day's work on the backfields, I felt great. And I was like, I need to start doing this. So like I approached her, started talking to her, and like, she told me, she's like, you're going to, like, if you want to like be healthier and you want to prolong your career, you're going to have to make some changes. And I knew that. Yeah. But I wasn't. You needed somebody to tell you. I needed somebody to like kind of help me through that process. So we developed a relationship, and I normally in the off seasons, I would go back home to my hometown. But that off season in 16, I made the decision to stay here. I had her do everything. She made my meals for me. She wrote my workouts. I would go into her Pilates studio. She would put me through Pilates workouts. She would write the conditioning workout. Like, she just did absolutely everything. Wow. And then on top of that, that's when I kind of like got my feet wet with the mindset stuff. And I was like, this is like the total package. Yeah. I tell her all the time, I'm like, I was telling everybody, this is like what training like a professional athlete feels like.
Even though I was one, I know. Right. Yeah.
And So like just developed a really, really good friendship with her. And, you know, she knew that I went through divorce. She kind of helped me get out the demons that I needed to get out, about like my past with that. And then she ended up going through a divorce, and like I was able to help her through that, and just kind of like we kind of came together naturally. And we tell everybody that we were best friends first, and then, you know,
that's cool. That's
husband
really
and
cool.
wife after, and like that's been the best thing was, you know, being able to marry your best friend.
Yeah. Well, and some people hate him, but you know, I personally like him. Tom Brady. I mean, you think about what that guy's done, man. It's all kind of in this same realm of stuff you're talking about, isn't it?
Right. Yeah. Have you watched the show
Man in the Arena?
Yeah.
Yeah. It's amazing.
We binge watched that, and it's like that show gave me chills, because like I'm like, this guy was not supposed to have anything.
Yeah.
To what he has now, and the success, all the rings, all the people's lives that he's impacted. And I was like, that's the kind of impact I want to have.
Yeah.
And it just makes you want to be a good human, and it makes you want to put the work in, whether it's in athletics, whether it's in business, whether it's in your personal life. Putting the work in and like seeing it through is the greatest thing that anybody could experience.
So you probably can see on this microphone right here, this F greater than P. And so when you hear, so our mission for our firm, my personal mission as well, is to help people achieve a future greater than their past. Okay. I was talking to Daniel Descalso with this a few weeks ago, and it kind of dawned on me is, well, to say that may think that you had a bad past. Well, you haven't had a bad past, right? You've had a great past. But we all want the future to still be better than the past, right? So when you hear that, what comes to mind for you? Future greater than your past?
Probably have to say being a better man than I was yesterday. And like I said, being a better husband, being a better son, being a better brother, being a better father figure for my 2 stepkids. That's what I think about whenever I think about that.
Yeah.
I want to be better than I was yesterday, and then even build on that to be the best man that I possibly can be.
And how do you do that? So when you think about your time right now, what are you doing to do that day after day?
Being in the Word with my faith.
Yeah.
You know, studying that, leaning on Him whenever I feel like times are tough, but also having an open line of communication between my wife and I, to where she knows what I got going on, I know what she's got going on, and then we can be the best for our family and our close group of friends. And I may have not answered that the greatest way, but I like, for me, it's I'm the type of guy that I want to put everybody else first. I come last.
Yep.
And whenever I can do that, when I can operate both on and off the field as a man of faith that wants to serve others, that's who I want.
Yeah.
That's what I want my legacy to be.
And I would say, just to confirm, not that you need my stamp of approval, but I think what I've liked about you and watched from afar is I believe that, right? And because not all professional athletes are that way. When you say others are first, the stereotype could be on some athletes, right, that it's them first and then everybody else kind of falls in line, right? So I think, just to confirm that, man, I think that you do a good job of that from what I see, and I think that's important. So again, that communication at home is key, communication at work, at the baseball field, whatever it is. We all know this, they're listening to this, but that communication, man, to be overly transparent and vulnerable, I think is huge.
Yeah, I appreciate that. That means a lot. That what I'm saying is what people are seeing.
Yeah.
And I mean, don't get me wrong. There's times like where, like in the business that I'm in as a baseball player, you got to be a little bit selfish.
Yeah.
But you know the times that you have to do that and the times when not. And the majority of the time, it's how can I be the best teammate that I can be today? How can I be coachable today? How can I be respectful for others around me, to where I'm not bringing anybody else down to make this team worse. And like, that's the way that I operate. And that's the way I want to operate moving forward, whether, you know, however long my career lasts. even whenever I'm done retired, that's still the way that I want to operate as a human being off the field.
Yep. So what would you tell yourself now if you could go back and, because you're 33 years old, so if you could tell the 25-year-old Matt Adams some advice, give some advice to that young man, what are you going to tell him?
Don't get caught up in the lifestyle. Because I mean, back 25, I was not in shape. I was heavy. I was, I took things for granted.
Yeah.
And I would, I still shoot myself in the foot today thinking that if I would have known the way I feel now and what I know about taking care of my body, if I would have known that whenever I was 22, 23, what would my career have looked like? Yeah. But I don't like to, play the what ifs or live with regrets. Like that I went through that because God wanted me to learn a lesson.
Yep.
And I learned that lesson. But now, I tell everybody, they're like, "Oh, you're 33, you're getting close to being done." I tell people, no, I still feel like I got a lot left in the tank. I feel like since that transformation in 2000, from 2016 going into 2017, I may be 33, but I feel like I'm 26.
Yeah.
My body feels great. I feel like I'm ready to go. I got more energy. I'm recovering better. That was just probably the best decision I've ever made in my life, was to really, hunker down and, put the work in. It was those 3 months, I lost all that weight and body fat in 3 months, and it was crazy. But it was a lot of 2-a-day workouts, waking up early in the morning, doing a workout, making sure my nutrition was on point, no cheat meals, no alcohol, none of that stuff. And it's been the
it was
best
known
thing.
too, because you guys are on TV all the time, but then when you're not on TV for 2 or 3 months and then you come back, people are like, holy smokes, look at Matt Adams, man. This guy's a beast.
And it was crazy because going into the Cardinal caravan that year, I got to the point where I didn't have to go on the bus trips around the Midwest. I only had to go into downtown to do the signings and whatnot.
That's when you've made it.
And right. And I walked in there and everybody's heads turned, and I got to the media session and they're like, "Who are you again?"
Yeah.
Who
the hell is that guy?
And they were like, "Well, Big City just went from Big City to Slim City." And I was like, okay, now I know that, it's people are noticing the hard work's paid off. But and they're like, "Oh, now that you made this transformation, you've done it." And I said, no, it's not that easy. I did it, but now I got to work hard, just as hard, if not harder, to maintain
it. Yeah.
And make the right decisions to, stay on point with all the hard work.
So how did Big City come about, man? Obviously, you're a tall, big guy, but is that how, or how did it really take off?
We were in spring training the one year, and Lance Berkman came up to me, and probably one of the best teammates I've ever had. And he put his arm around me and he goes, "I'm tired of big country boys getting nicknamed Big Country, so we're gonna call you Big City." And I don't know if it was because he kind of had an understanding of where I came from, out in the middle of nowhere.
Right.
So it was kind of an inside joke kind of. But he gave it to me, and then when he left, Freeze kind of kept it rolling, and it just kind of stuck. And I'm thankfully it did, because I love the nickname. Big
it's
City.
phenomenal. You got it up there on the TV screen for those that are watching it, man. You got a cool little logo there, Big City. Man, that's amazing. So when you look back at your career so far, because obviously we got a lot of baseball left for you, what's some of the best baseball memories you have? I know we talked about the 14 home run, but what are some other things that come to mind?
Going through that playoff run in 13. That was my first full season as a Cardinal, my rookie year, and I'm starting. It was unfortunate what happened to Alan Craig with his foot and whatnot, but to be thrown in there and start the end of August all the way through the end of the season, and then start all those playoff games, and I'm standing at first base in Fenway Park of the World Series as a rookie, and I'm Big Poppy's at the plate. I'm this is unbelievable. A guy that I grew up watching, just crush baseballs, and now I'm on the same field as him, playing in the World Series as a rookie. that was like,
pinch yourself moment.
That was definitely one of the best moments of my career.
Yeah.
And then the following year, having the home run off Kershaw, and then honestly, I tell her I hated getting traded because I just hated change whenever I got traded to the Braves. But I had Mott, who was with the Braves, I had a familiar face over there that I knew. But getting to know another group of guys and being able to go out there and go to battle with those guys, that was a great moment in my career too, because that kind of changed me as a person as well. It allowed me to accept change and understand that change isn't always that bad.
Yeah.
And I was able to go out there and have fun with a new group of baseball players, and that was fun. And then winning the World Series in 2018 was, that's what all baseball players, that's what you dream about as a kid, in
backyard,
the backyard,
man.
Game 7, bottom of the ninth, bases loaded, 2 outs, you gonna come through or not? And to be able to run on that field when out 3 was recorded and celebrate as world champions, I got the chills right now just thinking about it. But that we had a replica trophy made for our house. We had
that's cool.
Our bookshelf at home, and walking by that every day, it kind of just reminds me that, hey, I'm a world champion. It's a good feeling.
That's badass, man. That's badass. So last few questions. I saw on Instagram you opened, I can't remember how long ago this was, but you opened this lifetime pass, this gold pass, right? So what's that mean? I wasn't familiar with that, but what's that look like?
So I believe it's when you make it to 8 years of service time, you get this gold plated card. It says lifetime, Major League Baseball lifetime pass, and you get to take you and a guest. You get 2 free tickets anywhere.
Oh, wow.
Just in the right.
So if you just happen to be in Cincinnati, or if you're in LA.
Yeah. If I'm done playing and my wife and I are on vacation in California, there's a Dodger game in the regular season. We show up, and you may be up in the nosebleeds, but you're in the stadium watching a baseball game. It's awesome.
That is cool.
To be able that was that's a thing where I was okay, I want to make it to 8 years. I want to get that lifetime pass because that's something that nobody can ever take away from me.
No.
And now, obviously, the 10-year mark is what guys want to get to, with full pension, all the benefits and whatnot. And I got a year and a half left to reach that mark. That's my next goal. And but the lifetime pass was cool, being able to open that up. And my wife's always we started TikTok not too long ago. We ended up biting the bullet and getting on that part of social media, and it's been a lot of fun. She videotaped me opening it up and making a cool little video of it. But it was my 2 kids, they're yeah, whatever. Okay, so what? You played 8 years in the but it's they just don't get it yet, and they will, and it's a lot of fun to be able to share have people in your life that you enjoy sharing those moments with.
That's awesome, man. So what's a day in the life of Matt Adams like today? So obviously there's a lockout. We can't go play baseball. We can't go to spring training. So what's a day like today?
So typical day, wake up, early, eat breakfast. My wife and I started the cold plunge challenge.
Oh yeah.
So we have a big bathtub. We feel first thing in the morning, 6:45. We set our alarms. We wake up. We do the cold plunge. I think I'm up to 3 minutes.
Wow.
She's up to.
It's brutal.
She's
isn't
a
it?
trooper. Yeah, she's a trooper though. She hates being cold, but she's up to close to I think a minute 45 she did today. So we're doing that challenge. So that's part of the.
So let me stop you there before you go to the rest of the day. So I did a Wim Hof class for a month back in October. Are you familiar with Wim Hof?
What is that?
You got to look up Wim Hof, man. If you're doing the ice challenge thing, he's basically the creator of cold, of what this does to our bodies and all this stuff. It's amazing. We can talk offline about it. But talk to our listeners, what do you get from that? I mean, you're literally in whatever degree temperature you're in. I don't know what you're starting at now.
I think we're she measured the temperature the other day, and I think it was 42 degrees.
Yeah, which is brutal.
Yeah.
Gets you out of breath.
Yeah. And it's a super shock to your system when you initially get in. And the benefits you get from it, I feel like your mood's better, your energy levels are better. I feel like my body is not as sore going through my workouts daily. Body recovers better. like I've noticed the difference in like my appetite. Like I crave the foods that I know I should be eating more so than like the junk.
Wow.
And I don't know if that's like just my mind telling me that, or
and that's fine if it is.
Right. But the biggest thing that I learned from it was like when I first got in there, I started freaking out because it was so cold, and I could feel like everything tighten up, and because I was breathing so fast. And like my wife was like, "Hey, like slow your breathing down, breathe through your neck, like in through your nose, out through your nose." And like getting control of your breath, kind of
your
like
heart rate.
It took my mind off of how cold the water was. Like, and by focusing on the breath, I was like able to like my shoulders dropped. Like I was able to relax everything, and I was like, this is crazy stuff. But it's
insane. Yeah, I'm not very good at it, man. I do it, and but I've done it with my boys too. It's fun. But so you do your deal, you have your breakfast, all that stuff.
And then it's getting the workout in, making sure like because I'm the type of guy if I don't get the workout in like in the morning, then like the day gets away from me, and then I'm scrambling to try to get it in at 7:30, 8 o'clock at night, and that's not ideal. So making sure we come up the night before, write a workout so I know I have it on hand, what I'm doing that day, knock the workout out, have lunch, a little break, and then get my baseball stuff in. So it's 2 days if you want to consider that with the gym part of it, and then the baseball workout as well. And then
did you get to keep your coach when you got married?
Yeah, she's
all in, man.
She's all in, but she joked about it once we got married. She's like, I do not want to be your coach 24/7. Like I want to be your wife.
Be your wife.
I want like there's a time and place for work, but I want to be able to enjoy life with you outside of being client and coach. So we do a good job of making sure that like we sit down and like kind of go through like what the day should look like. For workouts, for me, food. She likes to cook a lot, so she will have like a menu for the week. She'll come up with the meals, and so we're prepared. That way we're not, we don't end up arguing and whatnot, because we're dipping our toes into being a coach-client relationship 24/7. So we do a good job of making sure we keep it. We have that finite period of time to be coach-client, and then the rest of the time's being husband and wife.
Awesome. So where do our listeners find more of Matt Adams, man? You said TikTok.
So TikTok, I believe the handle is Mr. and Mrs. Big City. It's a growth in progress, work in progress. I'm not running it. My wife runs it. She just takes crazy videos of me and her, and we keep it fun. But Instagram, it's Big City for real. Same thing for Twitter, and come check me out.
Well, I didn't know when I was going to pull this out here, but I think, my selfish side of me is like, we'll put that hat right there, that we hope that maybe we can see you back in the Cardinal red and white, man.
That would be awesome.
That would be totally awesome.
Now hopefully the DH comes in.
I know.
I mean, you got a pretty good one at first base, so
not
going to be seeing me out there at first base with the Cardinals, but maybe.
Is that for sure the DH happening?
I mean, it's not like 100% because like the CBA is not agreed upon, but I think both sides want it.
Yeah.
So I think it's good for the game. I think it opens up 15 more jobs for guys a year.
This is a big deal.
It helps me out.
Heck yeah.
But it opens up the chance of being able to put the birds on the bat on my chest again and be able to be a Cardinal again.
We would love that, man. It's been awesome having you, and man, just thanks so much for your time. I know you're a busy guy. I appreciate you coming on the Circuit of Success.
No problem. I appreciate it.
Tune in next week for another episode of the Circuit of Success with Brett Gilliland on the lineupmedia.fm podcast network. Subscribe to the show on iTunes, Google Play, Stitcher, and through our website, circuitofsuccess.com. Follow us on Facebook and Twitter, and email any questions to info@circuitofsuccess.com.
This podcast was a presentation of lineupmedia.fm.